We plug in the microphone here. See if we can do this any clearer. All right, Larry Krueger here at Levi's after 49ers lose to the Seahawks. Okay, so I guess you guys can hear me now. Can everybody hear me? I think you guys can hear me. We're here at Levi's after the 49ers lose to the Seahawks, and it was an ugly game. This game really was ugly. 13-3 was the final. What can you say? The Seahawks defense was just a whole lot better than the 49ers offense. Niners couldn't do anything. Really couldn't do anything in this game. The Seahawks defense, I mean, if you just go right through from the first drive right on down through this game, it was just an ugly game. Seattle got the ball on their first drive. Tatum Bethune had a sack that pushed them back, and then on 3rd and goal from the 17, Charbonnet had a 3-yard run, and then 4th and goal, Darnold went to Cooper Kupp, and it was incomplete, and so the Niners held on 4th down. And you're thinking, okay, good thoughts, but the Niners offensively went 3 and out on their first possession and didn't show anything offensively. Then on Seattle's second possession, they went 3 plays, 35 yards in a minute 23, and Zach Charbonnet scored on a 27-yard run where the defender got hooked inside, Charbonnet got outside, and just like that, it was 7-0 Seattle. So that was the second offensive possession. The 49ers then went 3 and out on their second offensive possession. Seahawks on their third possession drove to the Niner 29, but then Jason Myers missed a 27-yard field goal. So even though Seattle was dominating early, they weren't dominating on the scoreboard. Niners on their next drive turned it over on downs at the Seahawk 39-yard line. Couldn't get anything going. So the Seahawks had a 10-0 lead, or I should say a 7-0 lead. And then on their fourth possession, they went 9 plays, 33 yards. Jair Brown saved a touchdown, on a throw to JSN, but Jason Myers would come on for the 45-yard field goal to make it 10-0 Seattle. And then on the Niners' fourth offensive possession, they drove from their own 40 to the 30-yard line, and then the drive stalled out there. Eddie Pinheiro kicked a 48-yard field goal to make it 10-3. So that was where the game was at halftime, 10-3. D. Winters had left with an ankle injury. Niners were getting the ball to begin the third quarter. And, you were feeling pretty decent about the fact that even though the 49ers were down 10-3, at halftime, you felt like, okay, they got a shot. The 49ers' first half drives went punt, turnover on downs, and then field goal. So they only had 4 possessions. Seattle had 12 first downs in the first half to 3 for the Niners. Seattle had 196 total yards to 69 for the Niners. They had outrushed the Niners 115 to 23. So the Niners ran the ball okay as far as yards per carry. It was 4.6 a carry in the first half, but only 23 yards. And Seattle had a 19 to 10-minute time of possession edge. So Purdy in the first half was 10 of 13 for 47 yards. He was sacked twice. He had 1 run for 10 yards. CMC was a non-factor in that first half. 3 carries for 7 yards. Jennings had 3 catches for 19 yards in the first half. Eddie Pinheiro had the 1 field goal, but it was really Sam Darnold, who was 10 of 13 for 98 yards. He was sacked twice. Charbonnet ran for 6-7 a carry in the first half. Walker ran for 5-6 a carry. Seattle ran the ball really well in the first half, 6-1 a carry. For the 49ers, not nearly as well. So it was 4-6 a carry for the 49ers, but they were getting outrushed by a significant amount. 115 total rushing yards for Seattle in the first half of this game, and the 49ers struggled to run the ball, only 23 yards rushing for the 49ers at the break. So JSN had 4 catches for 52 yards in the first half, but Seattle dominated, 12 first downs to 3 for the Niners. Niners went 1 for 5 on third down conversions, just couldn't get anything going against this Seattle defense. So the Niners would get the ball to start the third quarter, and they would drive the ball from their own 12-yard line into cross midfield, or I should say, they didn't never cross midfield. They got up to the 39-yard line, and then on 3rd and 14 from the 39, Purdy went through incomplete to Bourne. This was one play after Jaron Reed sacked Purdy on 2nd and 7 to set up a 3rd and 14, and the Niners were forced to punt. So they were forced to punt on their first possession of the third quarter, and then Seattle would take the ball from their own 37, and they would move the ball down the field, and it looked like they were going to score again, but Charbonnet was tackled for a loss by Demo Lenore on 3rd and 2 from the 40, which set up a 3rd and 7, so Seattle was forced to punt. So the Niners were still very much in this game. It's a 10-3 ball game. Niners on their 6th possession couldn't do anything with it, 3 and out. And then the biggest play of the game happened on the Seahawks' 7th possession. It was 1st and 10. They were backed up inside their own 35-yard line at the 32. And Darnold stumbled, got tangled, his feet tangled with the offensive line. He stumbled, and he fumbled the ball. And it went right to Cleve Farrell. And unfortunately, Farrell could not fall on it. Seattle ultimately would fall on the football, and then they responded. 2nd and 17, Darnold went to Barner against Bethune. Then on 3rd and 17, Walker ran for 19 yards. And that was pretty much it right there. That was the backbreaker. The next play, Darnold found JSN for another 19 yards, and they're crossing midfield. And they moved the ball down the field on this drive at the end of the third quarter and wind up an 11-play, 55-yard drive. The Niners forced them to settle for a Jason Myers 31-yard field goal, but that made it 13-3. And so the 49ers, with 14 minutes left, were down 10 points, and they drove the ball from their own 30 to a 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. But Purdy went to CMC. He juggled it. It popped into the air, and the small linebacker, Drake Thomas from NC State, picked it off. And that pretty much sealed the game right there. The Niners, at that point were down 13-3. If they had scored, it would have been 13-10. And there was plenty of time in the game to get back into it. But that interception really was the dagger for the Niners. That was that Drake Thomas interception, because at that point, Seattle took the ball over on their own 3-yard line, but 2 plays later, Darnold found JSN for 13 yards on 2nd and 9 to convert a 3rd down. Then Darnold went to Kupp on 3rd and 3 to convert another 3rd down, and they drove the ball down into the Niners' territory. Now, Jason Myers would miss a 26-yard field goal. It hit the sidebar. So gave the Niners another shot, and the Niners had one more possession. They had a couple plays, and then on 4th and 6th, Purdy got hit hard by Derek Hall, and we'll find out if he was concussed or what. But he laid down on the ground there on the surface for a minute or so. He did eventually walk off on his own. Seattle would then just get the ball and kneel down a couple times, and that was the ball game. So 13-3 was the final in this one, and the 49ers lose the game, and they lose the 1 seed. They no longer have the home field. Seattle will have the home field in the NFC. The 49ers, where do they go from here? They go out on the road. Now, if the Rams win tomorrow, the 49ers will be the 6th seed, and will play probably in Philadelphia against the Eagles. If the Rams lose tomorrow, I think the 49ers in that situation could still be the 5 seed, and they would play Tampa in Tampa. So the Rams play Arizona on Sunday, and if the Rams win, I think it's a trip to Philly, and if the Rams lose, it's a trip to Tampa. So I think it's highly likely that the Niners are going to Philadelphia to take on the world champion Eagles. Purdy for the game was 19 of 27 for 127 yards. He had the interception. He was sacked 3 times. CMC 8 carries for 23 yards. Jennings 4 catches for 35 yards. Niners had 2 sacks. Drake Thomas had a huge interception in this game for Seattle. Darnold was 20 of 26. Pretty much did whatever he wanted. Walker ran for 6-1 a carry. Charbonnet ran for 4-4 a carry. Overall, Seattle almost ran for 200 total yards. JSN was good, but he wasn't great. He didn't need to be today. He had 6 catches for 84 yards. And Seattle gets a very methodical 13-3 win where their defense just completely dominated the 49er offense. Niners couldn't do anything. We haven't seen the Niners offense get dominated like that except for in Houston earlier this year against the Texans. So the win goes to Seattle. We're going to go down into the locker room. We'll talk to some of the key contributors. We'll pop over to KMBR for the post-game show, and then we will be back up here talking with you, with Kev, and our whole post-game show on YouTube coming up in a bit. Let's hit a couple of these supers, see if I can read them here. Let's see if I can. Oh, there we go. We got one here. We get this one from Harry Johnson. He says, 3rd and 17, Yatir missed a fumble recovery, CMC drop, game-losing plays. Very frustrating today. Yeah, I mean, I would say it was Cleve Farrell that could have got the fumble recovery. He was on it, and it just didn't happen. So there you go on that one. But anyway, let's see. We have one more here. Super here from Yarn Cha. He says, what does he say? Invest in the O-line this offseason and protect Brock. Yeah, I mean, there's no question. Niners need to, bulk up their offensive line. You've got, replacement level tackle. You've got, needs in the interior tackle. I mean, the offensive line has to be addressed this offseason for sure. So we appreciate that comment. Anyway, I'm going to head downstairs and we'll talk to Shanahan. We'll go into the locker room. We'll talk to some of the key contributors. We'll hit KMBR, and then we'll be back up here for the postgame on the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And thanks to all of you guys, and we'll see you in a bit.